Hello, 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 and welcome. Good evening, one and all. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are on the planet. Happy Tuesday. Come on in. My name is Anthony Carter. I am the host, producer, madman, creative genius, and brilliant mind behind a movement entitled That Plant Life, a movement dedicated to supporting black men 40 to 60 who are committed to combating hypertension without the use of medication and the addition of a whole food plant-based lifestyle. Let me say that one more time for the cheap seats in the back. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are on the planet. My name is Anthony Carter. I'm the host, producer, madman, creative genius, and brilliant mind behind That Plant Life, a movement dedicated to supporting black men who are committed to combating hypertension without the use of medication and the addition of a whole food plant-based lifestyle. Come on in and let's get started. The title of my talk this evening is These Two Questions Defeat Stress. So quick, down and dirty, right to the point. These two questions defeat stress. As many of you know, I am always talking about being healthy, right? Living a long life, a healthy, productive long life. So longevity, but living healthfully, right? And what does that look like? So I'm always looking at how can I do that? How can I support other people in doing that? And how can I share information that I found in doing that? Right? One of the things that I bring up every now and again, but is super important when you are trying to get your health at optimal levels, is something that I don't think myself or anybody else on the planet speaks nearly enough about, right? And I think it's super important. It's just as important as diet and exercise. It's just as important as community. And that is the silent killer, right? The big S, stress, stressors, right? We don't talk enough about stress and how that can harm the body and what it does to you. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that a bit today. So these two things, these two questions, I have realized help me deal with stress, help me move through things, help me knock off the cobwebs and kind of get on with things when I was a bit stuck. The first question is, what are you, or what am I, pretending not to know? Right, I got this from a self-help book I read many, many, many years ago. The author's name was, I believe, Nathaniel Brandon. And the question is, what are you pretending not to know? Right? Many, many, many times in my life, I have pretended not to know certain things, right? I pretended that the person I was dating was not a lunatic or a sociopath, right? I pretended that, yes, the person does, they do drugs, but, I'm going to pretend I don't know that this person is a pothead or a cokehead, right? I did that for a number of years. I'm going to pretend that this person being between jobs all the time is just the luck of the draw. I don't know how that ended up happening. There was a lot of pretending, right? What was I pretending not to know? I was pretending not to know I shouldn't have been with this person. Or let me take it even a little bit beyond that. How many times have I done that or you done that with a job, right? You're at a job and you're pretending that things haven't changed. You pretend that you have made the right decision. You pretend that the original conversation you had with whoever hired you, one thing was said, one thing was stated, and then when you started working there, things looked a little differently, right? And you pretended, like I pretended that, we're just settling in, right? A lot of pretending goes into jobs, right? So let me give you a deeper dive into what pretending can look like on the workforce. I've had a job at one point where it was physically difficult for me to get up in the morning and get to work. I'm not talking about being sleepy. I'm not talking about, the Monday blues, like, I really want to do this, but let me get up and get going. And once I get a little caffeine in me, I can get up and get moving. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when my eyes opened, part of my body locked up, and I had to literally talk my body into moving and getting out of the bed, right? Now, that let me know, okay, at some level, I'm pretending that things are okay. I'm pretending that this is an okay way of being, and it was not, right? Interesting story about that. When I decided to leave the job, the day I decided I was going to leave and I was done pretending, I was done pretending that I still wanted to do the job. I was done pretending that the people who brought me in in my opinion, didn't want necessarily the best for me. When I stopped pretending and decided I was going to walk away with no grand plan, right? No, nothing set up. So I was going against the cardinal rule, with leaving a job and not having another one. When I made that decision, my whole body chemistry changed, right? I no longer had body pain. It took me 2 days to realize, hey, wait a minute. I can just get up and jump out the bed and go to work. So it can happen. That's when you are pretending not to know certain things, right? We pretend we don't know that the relationship we're in is doomed or run its course. We pretend the job we're in has run its course. We like to pretend that we don't know how much money we spent this month, right? Once again, what are we pretending not to know? When you stop pretending you don't know certain things and face them head on, then you can make a change. Here's the next question you can ask yourself. What would I tell someone I love deeply if they were in this same situation? Right? I've had people I've loved for years, family members, siblings, partners, a husband, grandchildren. There's not one person I care about who, if they came to me and said, I physically cannot get out of the bed to go to this job, there's not one person I would say, well, suck it up, right? Make it work. Well, don't leave that unless you got something planned. I would never say that to somebody, right? Somebody I care for, somebody I deeply love. What would I tell them? What would you tell them? If somebody came to you and said, I'm really struggling with this relationship, or this person's always borrowing money, or this person is always lying, or I think this person has some serious psychological issues. I'm not talking about like funny, like, oh, you're so crazy. I mean like some serious, something that needs a team of therapists. If somebody came to you that you loved and told you that, what would you tell them? You tell them to get the hell out of there, right? Run as fast as they could and as far as they could. So those are the two things. I'm going to wrap up here. We're having a lot of tech issues today for some reason, so I don't want to push my luck with the tech gods. So, my name is Anthony Carter. I'm the host, producer, madman, creative genius behind That Plant Life, a movement dedicated to supporting Black men who are committed to combating hypertension without the use of medication and the addition of a whole food plant-based lifestyle. Let me say that once more for the cheap seats in the back. My name is Anthony Carter. I am the host, producer, creative genius, madman, brilliant mind behind That Plant Life, a movement dedicated to supporting Black men 40 to 60 who are committed to combating hypertension without the use of medication and the addition of a whole food plant-based lifestyle. Now, go take care of yourself. Go take care of your loved ones. Let your loved ones take care of you. Get some plants on that plate. And most importantly, eat like you got some sense. I'll talk to you soon.